والله يدعو إلى دار السلام ويهدي من يشاء إلى صراط مستقيم.
Bismillah, wassalatu wassalam ala Rasulillah, wabad. In the name of Allah, and the salutation, the peace and blessing be upon His last and final messenger, Muhammad, peace be upon him. I'm Omar Jamaykee, and we've been covering and discussing affairs that affects one's iman. And we have covered in some of those discussion, things that raises one's iman. And now we're discussing, and I've been discussing, also things that decreases one's iman, that weakens one's iman. And in Islam, iman is increased by the person fulfilling acts of obedience. So the more acts of obedience that one is involved in doing, this elevates one's iman. And if the one, a Muslim, is involved in acts that are acts of disobedience, then the person, iman, decreases. It is lowered. It is weakened. And as the objective of the Muslim is to seek in strengthening of his iman at all time, to the best of one's ability, as the objective of this is seeking Allah's closeness, and seeking in the finality of all of this, the reward of Allah, which is the eternal reward with Allah, which is entering into paradise, where the person remain forever. So the Muslim have to seek in this life the fulfillment of the different aspect of iman, of faith, and also protect himself from those things that affects his iman in a negative way. And amongst those things that affects one's iman in a negative way is Adam al-Ikhlas, the person not having sincerity in his actions. The person doing things based upon riyah, based upon showing off, sum'ah, doing things to be seen by others, wanting status amongst others, want to stand out amongst others. So all of these things, they are contrary to faith. They are contrary to the teachings of Islam, which is the person should fulfill his action with sincerity to Allah, not seeking to be raised amongst man, not seeking to people to stand for him when he enters in a sitting or in a gathering. These are things that are sign of weakness of iman. So Islam encourages sincerity in our action, that a person does things only for the sake of Allah, and not to do things seeking the pleasure of man, as this is a sign of the weakness of one's iman. So, and this is seen in different aspects of one's life, regarding one seeking of praise and glory and prominence. So one may seek this by claiming to be sincere in everything that one does. So he will always remind others of his sincerity, that what I'm doing it for Allah. But Allah knows best as to what is in our hearts. So one should not always remind others of his intention, that what I'm doing, this is for Allah. So these are sign of possibly an error in the person's iman, in the person's faith. Also thing that a person may do that is a sign of the person seeking to gain status with others, and what we avoid is the person always wanting to hold the place and the status and the rank of leadership over others. He must be the one in charge. He's the only one that everyone should obey and fulfill his view. This is a sign that is dangerous. So the person has to be humble, show humility, and not always wanting his views to supersede the views of others. So iman is protected by the person being humble, the person being one who's willing to consult with others. So the person who always wants leadership, sometimes he will take steps and put the measures in place to ensure that he is the one who's on top. And because of this, sometimes others may cheat to ensure that they are the ones who are first, the ones who are ahead of others. So they'll use devices that are haram, forbidden. So they'll cheat. They will bribe others to ensure that they are the ones who are on top. And sometimes they may even use other methods, such as oppressing others. So a person, to ensure that he is the one who remain on top, the one who is in charge, the one who have authority over others, he'll oppress others for this. And even those who go a step above this, where they will take the life of others, bring harm to others, to ensure that they remain in authority. And they see everyone or anyone who has the ability to also give a positive contribution as a threat. And due to this, they'll take whatever measures they deem necessary to remove this threat. So loving of having status and being authority can affect one iman in a negative way, where the person, he'll go to measures that are forbidden. Measures that will lead even to the death of others, and harm and injustice being done to others. Also, the person seeking rank and position and doing things to be seen, that sometimes this is the person he becomes and he enjoys when others stand for him whenever he enters. And this is contrary to Islamic teachings. As the Prophet taught his companion that you are not to sit, not to stand for others. As this is a practice of the non-Muslim, that they will stand in the presence of their leaders. So the Muslim must not or try to avoid this type of conduct. And the Muslim in his heart should not like of this. He should dislike others standing when he enters. He dislikes standing whenever he exists from a gathering. So the Muslim also have to train himself and discipline himself to not enjoy and like people praising of him. So the Muslim have to review his own self regarding how he wish for others to treat him, especially regarding him being praised by others. So the Muslim have to avoid praise that he's not worthy of, raise in rank that he's not deserving, put in position that he's not deserving, as this may lead to him being overcome by this and eventually affects his iman. So how many have been given responsibility that is above them and they're unable to carry out these things properly, and eventually affects them in a negative way, where they are affected even in their faith, in their belief, where the person, he does things that are not proper just so as to remain in this position and to be seen as if he's qualified. So he'll cheat, he'll be dishonest, he'll become scrupulous regarding others due to the fact that he wants to remain in this status, remain in this place that he's not deserving. So the Muslim has to ensure that he removes from his heart doing any act for the purpose of being seen, the purpose of gaining status with others. So actions are done for Allah, not for man, not to be seen, not for glory. So the Muslim have to be humble. And when a person understand that the one that he is worshipping is Allah, and to him is the one that all praise and glory returns, it now humbles that human character of that human being. It now opens up his eyes that there's one who's more supreme over him, one who's more greater than he is, and he's just a simple human being who will live and eventually die. And that's how, so the Muslim should be sincere and not fall into doing things to be seen by others, as this affects his iman. And these are the devices that weaken iman. So with this, we come to an end at the end of this program, and stay tuned to following programs regarding iman. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.